Good morning, students. The reason that you're hearing from me today is this. I need to make sure that you're all adequately prepared to be able to do your benchmark in career preparedness. Yes, you got a benchmark in career preparedness. Your benchmark in career preparedness will basically be like this. One of the things that the goal of career preparedness is to make sure that you are prepared to go out and get a career. So what I need you to do is basically to prepare what is known as a resume. A resume is a written reflection of you. In the next couple of slides, what we're going to do is we're going to discuss what a resume is, how one should look, and then I'm going to have you prepare one. The one that you prepare, I'm going to either need you to take a picture of or upload into Edmodo so that you can turn it in. And I'm going to look at all of these. I know there's a lot of them, but I'm going to look at that, and that will be 10% of your grade as it relates to career preparedness. So in the next couple of slides, we'll get you ready for what it is that a resume actually is, which is a written reflection of you and up to this point in your life. And of course, dealing with the resume, you want to make sure that your resume is put up in a way that's going to depict who you are, so that you would be able to get whatever job it is that you're trying to get when you turn this resume in. So with no further ado, let's begin. A resume is nothing more than a written reflection of who you are up until this point in time in your life. When you're preparing a resume, it's very important that you include several things. It's also very important that you put the resume on what is known as resume paper. You can find that in any print shop, Office Depot, even Walmart, wherever it is. But you want to make sure you put it on some good, what is known as quality resume paper. It does cost a little bit more for this paper, but it's worth it because you will be able to get a great return if you're able to get the job. A good resume includes several things. One of those things will be known as the objective. The objective is what it is that you hope to attain. If I am going to apply for a job as a superintendent of a school system, basically what I would put for the objective is my objective is to become the next superintendent of Shepherd's school system. I don't know that there is a Shepherd school system, but I just thought I'd throw that in. But that's what the objective is. If you want to go to work at AutoZone, you would say my objective is to be the next employee hired at AutoZone, because that's what your objective is. And you want to show that you want to attain what it is that you're applying for. The next thing is that you would include your educational experiences. Your educational experiences might be up until this point that I attended blank elementary school, blank middle school, and now I am a student at Florence Freshman Center. If you have any work experience up until this point, maybe you raked some leaves, maybe you babysat, I don't know what it is that you might have done, you would add that and have a heading that would say work experience. You would also want to include memberships. You want to include things that are going to set you apart and make you extraordinary rather than just ordinary, so that they will look at to you as the person that would be the right person for the job. Remember, this is a written depiction of who you are, and you want it to look good. As we mentioned before, you also want to make sure you have it on some good quality resume paper. The last thing that you want to include is a list of references. References can't be mom or dad. References must be somebody that knows you or that knows something about you and the type of character that you possess that could speak out on your behalf if an employer were to call them and ask, say, hey, how's John Doe? What type of person is he? Then you want to add somebody that's going to be able to say something positive to you. Make sure that they know that you're adding them as a reference. You don't want somebody to just call somebody up and they're like, you don't want to put them in that type of predicament. Let them know, hey, I applied for this job and I listed you as a reference. You might get a call. Is that okay? It's better to make sure that you do this up front rather than after the fact, because somebody might not feel comfortable providing a reference for you. Here's a sample of my resume. It's not necessarily for you to be able to read all of what my resume says. I just want you to see the headings. Some people might say you don't want to put your picture on your resume. I chose to do so. I want people to see what they're going to get if they choose to hire me. The other thing is, of course, you see my mission. Some people choose to omit the mission. I put that as well. The objective, though, is a very important aspect of it, as is the next thing that you see down below, which is the educational experience that I have prior to applying for this job. I want them to be able to see that. The next heading that I have up under that you may not see right now is what is my work experience. Work experience that would relate to the job that I'm applying for, as well as other work experience that they might seem to think would be important as it relates to the job I'm applying for. As you can see right down here below, as I was saying, you can see the education that I have down there, as well as the jobs that I have that might possibly qualify me or show that I might have something that they might be looking for as it relates to a trait for the employee that they're looking to hire for this job. So I have that listed as well down there. So I wanted to make sure that you all saw that. The next section that I have listed, of course, deals with memberships, different organizations that I'm a member of, as well as special trainings that might have something that would show that I might have an upper hand on somebody else that might be applying for the job. Therefore, I included that. Some people will tell you that a resume doesn't have to be that long, and it doesn't. It just needs to be short, sweet, and show what it is that you've done as it relates to being able to apply for a job. What I'm asking you to do today does not have to be this extensive. I'm asking you for a one-page sheet in terms of what it is that's going to show that's your resume. Last section of my resume is basically entitled Community Activities. I also not only want to show the educational work experience, I want to show also that I believe in contributing to the community that I live in. Therefore, I've listed that as another section of my resume. And again, this is not something that has to be listed in a resume. It's just something that I have chosen to do as it relates to the resume that I want to have reflected of who Rod Shepard is. Now that you've had a brief synopsis of what it is that a resume is, I would like for you to create one. I want to make sure that you include your address and your number or how to get in touch with you in terms of the heading. I want to make sure that you have an objective. I want to make sure that you have your educational experience up until this point. You also need memberships that different organizations that you might be involved in. That could be a club, that could be something away from school. And then finally, I want you to list a section that says references. Somebody that an employer could contact that would be able to vouch for your character in relationship to your ability to get a job that is not your mom, your dad, or a relative at all, but somebody that can say, hey, I know this person and this is what kind of person this is. So basically you are to have those sections: objective, that being section 1. Of course, you are to have your educational experiences, activities, and then a reference. And those are going to be what it is that you're going to list as it relates to the benchmark for career preparedness. Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask anybody, and they should be able to give them to you. Thank you.